Ready, bang! Alrighty, everyone, here we go, and welcome to the Ready, Bang! The Aussie Arm Wrestler Podcast. This is the number one arm wrestling podcast in the world. I'm your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler. Not only that, I'm also the third place left arm, under 95 kilos, amateur fucking champion. Third place. Yes. And as you can see by those giant biceps, this man needs no introduction, but it wouldn't be a fucking Aussie Arm Wrestler podcast if I didn't give him a good introduction. He is a college football star. He is an NFL star in Italy, but an NFL star nonetheless. He is a middleweight rising star in the WAL. Number 50 for the Bloomsburg University of Pennsylvania. You can see him. I call him the Super Nintendo. It is Paul Linn. Paul Linn, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I got to give you a shout out. I've been watching your stuff for quite some time. So if you guys are tuning into this channel and you haven't liked and subscribed and shared, go ahead and do that now, because I have a feeling that Jake is going to be putting a ton of more content out. I think it's going to get more and more hilarious. And if you go back into some of his match commentary, it's unbelievable. So if you aren't subscribed and you're not sharing, you're not supporting, get on the wagon.
Man. Thank you. And if that's not an endorsement enough, appreciate itself. I will always take the opportunity. And the first question I ask everyone on the show, Paul, how the fuck are you?
I'm great. I can't complain. You can see it's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. We got, off work today. Just got back from the gym. I'm wonderful.
All ready for the 4th of July weekend over there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, when we're done with this call, I'm going to fire up the smoker and we're going to crack some beers and have a good time.
Oh, what's your tipple? What do you like to have a drink? What type of beer?
Oh, I mean, you did so much research. You knew my college number. I figured you would know that I'm working on a sponsorship from Michelob Ultra. If I'm at practice or a tournament,
of course.
Yeah, I'm ready to get ragged about that. I'm okay though. I'm always on a low carb diet, so I gotta think responsibly.
Oh, that's all right. But I'm glad everything's going well. And as a sports fan, I'm going into it. So those arm wrestling fans that are watching now, you might want to fast forward a few minutes. Well, if you do, you're a dickhead anyway. But I, being a sports fan, want to talk about your college football. So it was Bloomsburg University of Pennsylvania. Go Huskies. That's just a fucking mouthful to say in itself. Is that a real university?
Absolutely. So, and I mean, if you and I don't know how it works in Australia, but I'll break it down for you. So basically, the levels of college football, you got Division I, like big school, the BCS, and then you have the FCS, which is like 1A, and then you have Division II. And then 3, and then there's a couple other like independent leagues as well. So Bloomsburg University is part of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Pennsylvania is totally permeated with football. I think when I played, I believe there was 14 teams in that league just in Pennsylvania. So it's a Division II program. Came out of high school aspiring to be a Division I athlete. Just under 6 feet. That wasn't in the cards for me. So I was looking primarily at Marshall University because my head coach had coached there, was very successfully. And he got me recruited there. And not knowing what I was doing, I kept Bloomsburg on the back burner. That was my head coach's alma mater. So I kept him on the back burner, didn't know what I was doing. When I crunched the numbers on what it was going to cost on a partial ride, I found out that, heck, I could go to Bloomsburg and basically be going to school for free with athletic scholarships and grant money and everything. So when it was all said and done, I held him on the back burner, which kind of screwed me a little bit early on, but I wound up going there and I don't regret it one bit.
Yeah, man.
We went to the national championship my first year. I had a blessed career.
Yes. As a huge sports fan, the March Madness is what it's all about. I absolutely fucking love that time of year. Huge basketball fan. So I get to see a lot of that. Double in a bit of NFL, Baltimore Ravens fan, but that is it like the movies when you go to college? Is it exactly like the movies? Are you going to frat parties? Is there a lot of drinking? Do you carry on with each other?
Right. So, me personally, my personal journey, my freshman and sophomore years, I was very, very focused on academics and getting on the field. Yeah. So, I took that workman-like mentality. I really didn't go out much. And I didn't really drink in college my first year or 2 years there. The times that I did go out, I got in trouble. I got in fights, and I pulled back a little bit. I mean, so yeah, no, it's absolutely like that. It is 100% like that. And yeah, it's a fun time in life. But I got myself wound up and got into trouble a few times that kind of haunted me later on.
I'll tell you what, I saw some college football photos. You had a bit of $1 million smile going on back there, hey? I think you were a bit all right with the ladies back then.
I don't know about that. No, listen, yeah, the smiling and everything now and the positivity. I wasn't that same dude back then. I was, let's say I was a little bit, I don't even know what the right word is, but I wasn't a nice guy back then. You know what I mean? In that mode in life and the position I played in, my style of play didn't allow for too much smiling and positivity. So.
Middle linebacker on the defensive end, you can't be a nice guy. So, hi guys, I'm Paul. I'm Paul. I'm just playing middle linebacker. I hope you have a good game.
Right.
Bang! That's what you get.
Yeah, no. And you got to think, being under 6 foot, right? I'm under 6 foot, about 225. I'm not going to light up a combine with my 40 time either. No. So in that era of football was more smash mouth back then. Fullbacks were still a part of the game. It was a collision sport. And in order for me to be able to be successful, I had to be violently physical at all times. Wow. And I had to be alpha at that position. So it kind of forced my hand. And I've been born with that contact gene. Like, I really don't have fear. Like, never had fear of contact. So that had to be my strongest point. Gene,
being a fucking man, wanting some contact and wanting to be an alpha. That's just, that genetics dying down about wanting to be a fucking man. Ridiculous.
Right.
Going and
the game's changing, buddy. The game's changing. It's grass basketball now. You can't, half of the stuff that we got away with in the early 2000s is totally outlawed now.
It's just getting out of control. I'm surprised that it's still a contact sport. I'm surprised that the helmets haven't got an extra layer. Or I reckon NFL will whip out a bubble wrap team anytime soon. Like, it is.
Well, that's the frustration. You would think with all the technology in the world, they could figure out how to prevent concussions while we could still use our head. They've taken the head out of the game. I mean, I joke about post-concussion syndrome, but that's probably a real thing because I didn't use my shoulders too much for fear of injury. For me, this was this right here was the safest part of my body.
I always watch. I tell you what, look, I'm no scientist. As much as you want to believe, Paul, I'm not a scientist. But if you want to get rid of fucking concussions and everything in American football over there, just high five each other. Stop smashing your heads together whenever you do a good play. Because after, if you have a good game and there's 60 to 65 people on a roster, Paul, man, good game. Great tackle. Great interception.
Yeah.
It's going to get old after a while. If you just go, Paul, bang, save you some concussions.
I'm with you. I don't think we don't allow for the kids to do stuff like that anymore. So we gotta be prudent as coaches.
But look at it, Sammy. I won't go through all the stats because I know everyone just wants to fucking get into arm wrestling. But you were no slouch, man. 2003, 43 solo tackles. Now people might with the game, I don't know if people understand how pretty fucking cool that is. College football don't have that many games. I think it can be around 12 to 16 game season plus championship. Yeah. So to have 43 by yourself. By yourself. You got about 11 people on the field with you. So to get 43 by yourself, I think it was 60, 67, 68 tackles for the season. But then, it was 43 by yourself.
There's an interesting thing in that. In this era, there was no allowing for film review on tackles. So that was the real time counts. So what most of the time what we had was much more than that. I believe on our coaches, our position coach tallied the stats, and I averaged over 10 a game that year. But they count them real time, so they don't get them all. But we played 10 games also. It was a 10-game regular season that year.
So 10 games, and you got 43 that actually counted. Just under 4.5 tackles by yourself. Did it just get to a stage where you were just telling your teammates to fucking get out your way? Like,
no.
Were you just pushing the left and right?
I played with a bunch of guys who were real good.
I've got this.
No, the game was different back then, though, too. You got to think, Jake. Like, people were running the football back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, they used to, a couple of the coaches used to poke fun at me, like, oh, he's Johnny A-Gap, because I played downhill. And the game was played in a phone booth back then. Now it's played on a basketball court,
Yeah.
So things were a bit more. Most of those tackles were in the box, between the tackle box. Yeah. So the game was more suited to my style back then. I would probably struggle a lot more now.
Wow. You're 15 years older, so I'd probably think. No, you fucking. I don't know if anyone out there hasn't seen any Paul Linn arm wrestling videos. First of all, if you haven't, you're probably been fucking living under a rock. But you are in phenomenal shape. It is. I think that's what drew me to you on YouTube, because I'm a huge WWF fan. I love Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. So when someone turns up to the table with that look. You got the shaved head and the don't fuck with me look, and then, you got the double biceps and things like that. I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this guy, absolutely. But even then, 2004, you were the captain and you made the PSAC first team as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you made the NFL in Italy. But what was that? What was that like over there with Torino?
Well, so yeah, I mean, it's a I was blessed. I've had a decent leadership quality. I think that's been innate. So I captained every team that I ever played on. Yeah. Just kind of happened. I wasn't super vocal. Just kind of happened. So I think that helped me, today to help developing those skills needed to coach and everything. So basically, what happened got invited to. Made some lists, made some some all-star lists and things like that. And at the D2 level, we had a couple people who had made it to the NFL. And actually, I played with a guy who was the all-time highest paid guard in the league. He played for the New Orleans Saints when they won the Super Bowls and everything, Jari Evans. We had a good stint at Bloomsburg where we were getting recruited fairly well. And Ja was on that team. So we had scouts there, and we had agents that would come. And I was in La La Land, right? So I went to college. To be a football player, and I said, hey, a degree will come along with that, I guess. So I had the bright idea. I remember in my sophomore year, I had to declare a major. And I sat down with my guidance counselor or whatever, and he said, hey, you got to declare a major, dude. What are you doing? I said, I don't know. My grades are good, aren't they? And he was like, yeah, they're not bad. What do you want to do? I said, I have no clue. He said, what do you like to do? I said, I like to lift weights like a meathead. And he said, cool, we have the perfect major for you. Little do I know, there's essentially no future with an exercise science degree unless you want to be you want to move out west and be a personal trainer, or you want to go into cardiac rehab. So I took the exercise science path, and I love the coursework. But when I got out, I gave zero thought to what I was going to do with that. So at the end of the year, I sat back down with that guidance counselor and the chair of the exercise science. And he was like, what are you going to do, Paul? What's your plan? And I was like, I don't know, grad school maybe, just because I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, okay, we can waive your GREs. And they got me in there. And I was talking, me and my running back that year, we were talking to the same agent. He came in and reached out to us and asked us what we want to do, And both of us kind of sat down and said, realistically, I don't want to chase the NFL dream. You know what I mean? I don't want to waste my years chasing that dream. Well, he said, we have a bunch of other options for you. You can play indoor football in the United States, which is basically arena, or you can go to Germany. I think the Euro Championship had, I forget how many different countries were represented, but Germany had interest and Italy had interest in both of us. And we were like, all right, let's try and go to the same country. So we both went to Italy. He wound up on the Lions Bergamo, which like won. These guys were winning the Euro championship every year. They had 22 Americans. Yeah, I wound up on the Torino Jaguari, who had 2 Americans, one of which it was like it's weird because you're only allowed X number of Americans.
Yeah.
The way you can get Americans is if they can have a dual citizenship. So if they have like 25% Italian background or German background, you can get more of them. Well, the Lions Bergamo had 22. You know what I mean? We had me and a guy who played like 1 year of college football.
So basically
it was
you're saying
interesting.
you had
that
no
was their first
fucking chance.
No. I scored. It was bad. It was bad. But I mean, I played both sides of the ball. I carried the ball. They got me the ball as much as they could. They got me involved in everything. And when you want to talk about like production and tackles, there was times where if I wasn't making a play, it wasn't being made. I think I had a game with 27 tackles.
Oh,
it was ridiculous.
Fucking dead set.
But it was fun. I had a blast,
mate. To play. I would rather play NFL both sides of the ball in Italy than have a proper fucking job. I can say that. To have a real job or just play a sport and then throw you some money. I thought all of that was unreal. So when I dabbled, right into that, and you're still involved in the game of football, which we might touch on a bit later. But now everyone's probably jumping in the comments, going fucking start talking about arm wrestling. So there we go. Here we go. So then, first of all, I want to know the 2 things. I want to know the worst injury you've ever had and ever seen, and then also I want to know which sport has the better trash talkers, football or arm wrestling. So go with the injuries.
All right, so injury in football?
Yeah.
Actually, the young man that I referred to earlier who played for the Saints, he broke his leg, both bones in his lower leg, in a game. Yeah, and it was one of those deals where like something kind of like you would see in a movie where his leg was like sideways. Now he fully recovered, but I'm like, I'll be 100% honest with you. I have a weak stomach for that stuff. So like when I see an arm break in arm wrestling, I'm running, like I'm covering my eyes, my stomach's turning, and it never gets easier. So I think that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, well, lucky you didn't turn up to an Aussie rules football game a couple of years ago. I had my shoulder dislocated during a game. Just by the way, we don't wear padding, just throwing it out there. Not calling you weak or anything, but we don't wear padding and helmets.
You're talking about rugby though, right? Or are you talking about soccer? What are we talking about?
Nah, you've never seen Aussie rules football?
No.
I tell you what, you can lock it in now when this garbage virus is over in Australia.
Send me a link. I'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out on YouTube and everything. But when you come over, you'll have to come to a game. But yeah, so that guy snapped his leg. What's the worst injury you've had?
Me? Oh man, you know what? I've been blessed. I've been really blessed. I've never torn a ligament. I've never broken a major bone. I've broken ribs, fingers, nose, things like that, but nothing major. Honestly, the worst thing that I've dealt with since competing was right before WAL last year. I had a 60% tear in my common flexor bundle on the my inner elbow. Yeah. So like that whole year, that was hanging on by 2 attachment points. Like even in the Paul Talbot match, that was like excruciating.
Wow. Oh, fucking hell. So then, that would have hurt. Bang! That would have
I took the meathead approach. I was like, I'm not hurt. Or I said, I'm not injured. I'm like, these arm wrestlers are soft. That's what I'm thinking. They don't know the difference between being hurt and injured. And then I go get the MRI, and they're like, dude, you can't arm wrestle no more. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. But I'll acknowledge that it's an injury.
Just acknowledge it's an injury. So then who has the better trash talker when you're lining up and you're ready to attack the quarterback get through their guards. Do they have better trash talking, or when you're standing on the other side of the table?
First off, like from my perspective, I don't ever remember having enough wind or energy to be able to successfully talk trash outside of the first quarter myself. So I personally didn't. I was largely not affected by it. I will say coaching now, these kids never shut up. You can't get them not to talk trash. You cannot. They do not stop. It is it's a huge portion of it. Now, arm wrestling, I think the trash talk is more like on social media. It's more well thought out. You know what I mean? But the game of football over here is insane. I can't get them to shut up. I can't.
Yes. Oh, I need if the season goes ahead or anything, I need a live stream one of the games. If you haven't noticed, fucking love trash talking. I think every sport needs it, and that's why I've jumped on and started throwing it in my videos, because I think I say it every podcast episode. Everyone's too nice. I understand that it's a respectful sport, but when you're getting ready to watch the boxing, UFC, or even an NFL game, like if Tom Brady's just moved to the Buccaneers, and then if he just turns around and goes, well, actually, Bill Belichick's fucking stupid, I'd be like, oh, I want to see the Buccaneers versus the Patriots, and things like that. But in arm wrestling, it's like, oh, Aussie arm wrestler, you're going against Paul Linn. Oh, yeah, Paul Linn's a good dude. No one cares! No one cares! You are a good dude, and you got a reputation of a good dude, but I want to sit there and go, you know what? Paul Linn came on the podcast and he wasn't fucking interested. He'd be an alright arm wrestler if he wasn't shit. And things like that. And people want to see us, and then when I'm on I think that's probably...
No, it's great.
Oh.
It's great. It's great. I love, especially like what Ryan's doing. You know what I mean? He does it with class too. You know what I mean? Sometimes the stuff is off the wall and everything, but you know what? People want to hear it.
Right. That's right.
They want to hear it. They want the drama. It is what it is.
I love trash talking. So football wins that one.
The volume is too high. It's volume. It's quantity over quality when it comes to football.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because no one can hear what each other's saying. They're just going like a couple of seagulls. So then I've got to ask. I'm going to ask you a question. It's off one of my favorite American football YouTube videos. Now, if you can't answer this question properly, I'll fucking end the podcast right now, Paul. Pressure's on.
No pressure, right?
All right,
all right, give it to him.
Get in my inner YouTube. Paul, who am I? The greatest.
That's it?
The greatest YouTube inspirational football video ever.
Oh, I am a champion.
Yeah!
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were looking for a name. I was about to say Ray Lewis or something. What is that? What is that facial expression? Are you Ray Lewis?
I'm a champion.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, guys, get on. If you want your balls to tingle in the morning, or you want to feel comfortable having an erection while watching a man, you watch that video. For those that don't know, the guys coach at high school or football, high school or college football, and I used to watch it before when I used to do motivational speaking, and I used to watch it before I used to play Aussie Rules football. That is the greatest YouTube, besides this podcast, the greatest YouTube video of all time. I absolutely love it. And I've probably watched it a million times.
Right. Yeah. That's what you want to watch if you're going into a situation where you know you're going to have to fight 6 guys. You need to watch that before you do it.
Now I'm weak as piss, and I want to punch on with everyone when I watch it. If I watch it and then I just go do grocery shopping, I'm fucking giving it these ones to old grannies walking past, and I'll be like, "Who am I? I'm a champion." And then they're like, "Yeah, but it's $7 for the apples," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, back to the reality." Right, let's get into fucking arm wrestling, one of the greatest sports. Arm wrestling. So why arm wrestling? You've had this, I would say, a very successful career in football. So then, first of all, why was it why arm wrestling, and was it over the top that got you into arm wrestling?
I mean, I'm a Stallone fan, to the death, and I watched all Stallone's movies. But, arm wrestling has been around, I didn't know what I was doing, but, I have been arm wrestling since I was a child. My mom, my genetic background is very strange. My dad's 6'6", and my mom's 5 foot flat. Okay, so I got in the middle. My dad's an ectomorph, long and lean. He's very long and lean, and my mom is like a powder keg. She's when I was young, she was strong. She was just strong, and she would whip my butt in arm wrestling when I was young. And it would be, and she enjoyed doing it. I'd be getting my ass handed to me by my mom, and I found myself somewhere in the middle. I got an ecto and an endo, and I wound up as a mezzo. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a cross between them all. So I'm fairly athletic, but I'm also fairly power driven. So I was always geared towards those strength type sports. And I really didn't come into my own until later on, but I always arm wrestled at the lunchroom table. Yeah. We arm wrestled it was every day. And it was just on who's the strongest. And my best friend in high school, this dude was jacked from day one. He was always, always, always stronger than me in the gym. Freaky numbers. A 405 bench. Crazy stuff. But he could never beat me in arm wrestling. And we would arm wrestle every single day. And I don't think I ever lost I remember losing 2 arm wrestling matches in my life before I became an arm wrestler. Yeah. And one was to a guy named Tim Brown, who played for a rival high school. When I was in elementary school, I was in the 5th grade. He wound up going on to be a Division I athlete and a monster. I lost to him, and then I lost. There was a table there was a big, a nightclub in my area that I used to go to on Tuesday nights, and they had an arm wrestling table in the back corner. Because back in the day, and I'd never seen an arm wrestling table. And I found out, now just through the grapevine, I found this out through other people, is they held a Yukon Jack qualifying event in this bar in I guess it would have been the 90s. And they kept the table and they just left it in the back of the club. So people would get on there. And I went on there, of course, like a meathead. I'm on that table for 3 hours. So everybody in the bar beat everybody in the bar. And this big sauce head comes up. And I had been arm wrestling all day, and I'm I'm waxing everybody. And I hit him to the pad. And he didn't stop. And he turned me into a hook. Oh. And I don't know what I'm doing. And he pulled through me, and I was and now everybody's oh, you know what I mean? But from that moment, that was to get up a little bit more. And then I saw Game of Arms and all that. But Over the Top, I don't think was my inspiration. Game of Arms was I remember watching Game of Arms, and I was just hearing the drama. And I just, to myself, I'm looking at some of these guys, and I'm I don't know, for whatever it was Mike Solaris. I looked at Mike Solaris. There's no way I can't beat this guy in arm wrestling. No way. You know what I mean? I have to be able to beat this guy in arm wrestling. So that's when I started. I searched the sport out, and I found a tournament that just showed up.
All right. That's a pass because all right. I'll allow that. That's not a bad introduction to arm wrestling. I'm surprised that nightclub didn't get sued left, right, and centre. I could imagine a bunch of piss blokes in there, and then people snapping their arms every Friday night.
I never, knock on wood, I never heard of anybody breaking their arm in there.
Oh, that's
never.
Wow. Jeez, yeah. If that happened, if that happened over here 10 years ago, I reckon every nightclub and every pub would be shut down. Australia, it's one of the fucking greatest countries in the world, but we are a bunch of pub pullers for sure. And when we've had a few, I'm on to my second can now, and I reckon after this I might wake up my beautiful wife and just go, right, hey, fucking grip up, babe. And I don't know if it's because of Aussie rules football or something, but soon as the challenge is set, we're more than happy. Oh, Jay, you're a fucking arm wrestler. Come on, dickhead, here we go. And then it's on. But arms would snap left, right, and centre. I tell you what, it's almost becoming genetic now that if someone in Australia's arm snaps, I think it legally goes bang like that. I think that's the noise it actually makes. So WAL, you have risen real quick. You started at 35. So I think that's the one thing I absolutely love about the sport. Doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 35 now and I've only been in it about 12 months. So it doesn't matter how old you are. If you know, with any grind, any hustle, it doesn't matter what age, and that's the beauty about arm wrestling. So you've risen real quick. So then going to WAL, are you booked on the 600 series?
Not officially.
What?
But you'll see me. I mean, we haven't released it yet, so I can't really say anything. You know, they swear you to.
Damn it!
Yeah. Here, you might see me early, maybe. Corona, you know, it depends on what the Corona wants to do to us too. That's what's running the show. So.
Yeah, that fucking shits me. This coronavirus. All right, so Paul Linn's all right. You don't have to say anything, Paul. 1 wink for yes, 2 winks for no. Are you pulling Justin Bishop?
I will say no.
Damn it! I thought I might add something because I
asked for that match. I wanted that. So
yeah.
I can't tell you who. I can't tell you when, but I can tell you. I can answer that.
Oh, see, I was playing fantasy booking, and if anyone's out there, make a fantasy arm wrestling thing. I'm sick of playing all the other fantasy games. I was thinking Justin Bishop because you jumped on the series 500 series 502. You pulled Paul Talbot, and pretty impressive win. Justin Bishop missed out on the hammer, so I was just like, wow, 2 and 2 together, yep. Bang! Them two need to go.
That was kind of what I was hoping for too. I mean, Justin's a great guy, and I think kind of the way things shook out. I know he's the guy who just got the. I don't know how they do the ladder or whatever, but to me, him getting that win on Rob is one of the most impressive things that has happened recently. So in my mind, that makes him a top contender, and he's also super popular. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think there's good hype and there's good clout in that match, but I'm good with pulling whoever. So it's like, I try my best to be a good soldier and take what they give me and move forward from there. But yeah, Justin's a man.
Paul, I'm going to interrupt you there. Stop being so fucking nice. Stop being so nice. Just go out there and go, right, I want this person, and it's bullshit, I'm not getting this person, and I tell you what, if I don't get this person, book me with this one. You're so polite, you're so nice.
Things might work out a little bit better for me if I did that, but yeah, I'm trying to stay away from that in this set. But remember now, man, I'm trying to turn a page from being a little bit of a different person in a different life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely get it, man. Just taking shit on you. So then, what's Paul Talbot like?
Like as a person or like a puller?
We'll go with the person first. We'll go through your match in a minute.
He's another awesome guy. Like I'll tell you what, I struggle at times to get up for matches because there's so many people in the sport that I like. But I've been in competition, so like I can't villainize certain guys. Like I have to have a match really like that sticks out to me where I can villainize my opponent. I feel like if I could do that, there would be an extra tier of like motivation there. But I mean, I've been competing in different sports for my whole life at a big enough stage where I don't have a problem getting up for the moment. I can get in my own head. I'm big on visualization, so it doesn't hurt me really. But no, Paul was like, I mean, he's a good friend of mine. That's that I want to pull as far as being a friend now. But you got to do what you got to do,
That's right because you've got to win. If you want the ultimate prize and you got that competitive nature in you, then you can be friends after for half an hour. Just don't be his friend and fucking pin him.
Right, yeah, it's 10 minutes of non-friendship. But the thing about Paul, I think that people don't realize is how strong his left is. His left is his dominant hand. So every time he's pulling on WAL, he's pulling with his off arm. His left is unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Because every time I do see Paul Talbot pull, it's always his left, and he's always looking strong. So that's why when I was, doing my predictions for last year's WAL, it was just being a fan of yours. It was like, Paul Linn wins, and but then just probably not comprehending that. He's on his left, but then so
his right's very good too. Like, I'm not taking anything away from his right at all, but I'm just saying he's one of those guys. And there's a lot of guys in the middleweight who have dominant left arms that don't get to use them. I think Justin's left arm is better than his right. Like Storm won a hammer left arm. I would love to see more middleweight left arm. I know Ryan doesn't want to, but I think it would be very entertaining.
He's just right arm dominant. But that's what. Well, you'll be on Fox Sports 1 over there real soon. So hopefully this then lifts the sport of arm wrestling. Then more people. I'll tell you what, Neil Pickup can host the WAL right arm. I'll fucking host the WAL left arm. What do you think this is? This is a left arm third place. I know my left arms.
Hey, listen, I'm not left arm dominant, but I can hang now. I can hang. I might scare some people left arm now. I might shake it up now. I know it's not. Once this one was banged up, for that year, this one compensated. So
what are the biceps coming in now? Give us a look. What are the biceps coming in now?
I don't know. Just to say, I don't got them Rob arms. I got like my measurements are modest. I'm all about camera angles and lighting.
Yours look like arms, but only smaller. That's no, man, you're in phenomenal shape. So then let's go to the match with Paul Talbot. Round 1, bang, hand control, hang back, drop with the body, you get the pin easy. Thought, fuck, he's going to blow him out the water. I want to talk about round 2. Round 2, you come out, a bull out the gates and go bang, and then you're hanging, and you're about a bee's dick from the pad, ready to go 2-0 up. You readjust, lose hand control, and get pinned. So when Paul Talbot pinned you, what were you thinking after that?
Well, see, here's the deal. Like, you got Devin and Ryan. I always kind of go back to these two guys. They're a bleed you out guy. They want to make you pin yourself. And, I don't have a ton of super match experience. I've been in wars, and I'm okay there. But I hear so much, everybody saying like, hey, get in a good position and hold it. Well, I'm no expert at that. You know what I mean? I'm usually pinning you right away, or I'm just grinding, in the middle of the table. So that was my attempt at bleeding him out. And so you make some mistakes now, and I've never felt Paul wedge in there like that. I do believe had I not paused, I could have pinned early, but I kind of screwed myself up. Yeah, and that's not a position I'm normally in, just sitting there waiting. So no, after that match, though, he his wrist completely back, and I pulled with a full cup. So once I got to the point in the center of the table where I felt like I wasn't going to bring it back, I laid it down, and I was totally committed to just continuing staying high and staying. I think it gassed his hand out way too much.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's how you just went 3 and 4 like a fucking heavyweight boxer, just both on the chin. Round 3 and round 4, you just absolutely ripped through him. So if trying to bleed him out has definitely worked. Because I was just like, I was watching it again the other day, and I was like, oh, he should have just gone 2-0 up. Like, it looked like you had somewhere to be. Like, you won round 1 real easy, and then round 2, I thought, oh, you fucking got him. I thought, shit, Paul must have a bus to just to catch. He's winning this match real easy. But then, when Talbot got the second one, because it was your first time on WAL, I was just wondering if that was messing around with your head or anything. But you had a game plan, and it worked absolutely.
I lost the coin toss, and I don't know if you ever seen the video where we pulled prior to that, and we went 3-3. Whoever had the buckle lost. It was totally decided by the buckle, not using the fair strap. So my focus was the first time I had the buckle, I absolutely have to be able to win the top game when I have the buckle. just because his style is very hard to initiate a hook against. So I was 100% zeroed in for those 2 days prior, or the day prior after I lost the coin toss the day prior. I knew I was getting the buckle first. So I had to win that match, or I had to take control and not lose my hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once I did that, I felt like I was in the driver's seat, and I was like, okay, let's put the bleed on here and make it an easy third match. Now it was just the wrong decision.
But
being able to win with the buckle, I even after losing that second match, I didn't really lose the confidence.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It didn't show. It didn't show or anything. You just went out and fucking smashed him in the next 2 rounds. That was unreal. Now moving on from there. A while ago, I believe you were booked for a USA versus Australia with arm fights, and you were going to go against a guy from Australia, Lachlan Adair, a heavyweight over here. What happened? How come you didn't end up competing in that?
The elbow.
Yes.
I was right in the heat of it. I called Travis and I was like, look, dude, like, please believe I am not making this up. They're telling me that if I don't treat this elbow, it's going to fully tear. And I said, I called Travis. I said, you're my guy. I said, I'll come and do it, but I want your advice. Like, what do you think right now? Because my career's kind of in the balance. If I fully tear this, it's going to be surgery and a long-term rehab, like probably a 2-year road back. So he was like, dude, I'll get a replacement. So, and I kind of had to make that decision. I hate backing out on things. You know what I mean? But it was at a point where everything was in the balance. And I talked to Ryan too, and I talked to Lachlan. And I'm not gonna back out of a match because of a boo boo. Like, I don't believe in boo boos, bump bruises. I don't, suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go to work. Like, it was real, So that was right at that time.
Yeah, no, because I actually watched the arm fights live over here. I mean, it was and then so then when I was that was
a great tournament too. I would have loved to have been there. The Mosier and Vlad and all those guys were there. Coach Bray, that would have been awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Then when I was watching and looking things up, it's like, Lachlan Adair going against Paul Linn. I was like, wait, they pulled, and then it was because of this. So you were injured. That makes sense.
Saying that sounds dirty to even say it to me. I just hate that. Like, here's another interesting fact. I've never sat out of a game or a practice for an injury, ever. So like, for me to say that at this point, like, and I've had serious concussions and things like that, and I just dealt with it, so that for me to like have to swallow that in my career, coming up to age 40, and now I have to miss something because of an injury. Like, I had a long streak going,
Yeah. I didn't make it to 40. I think my first injury come around 27, 28 years old, and then the wheels just fell off from there. But yeah, like, way.
I don't want to become like I don't want momentum rolling me down the hill.
Fucking oath. Alrighty. Let's get into a few games. This one's one of my favourites. You've got the very first celebrity edition of this game. What you got to do is you got to pin one, you got to lose to one, and you've got to tell one to fuck off from the WAL 600 series.
And I get to pick whoever?
Yeah, no. I'm going to give you 3 names.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So Paul Linn gets the very first celebrity edition. So I'm going to give you Madonna.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber. And Pennsylvania's own Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. I gotta beat one, lose to one.
And then you got to tell one, we're not booking you on the 600 series. Fuck off.
I'm going to lose to Madonna just to be done. I'm going to beat Mark Cuban, and hopefully it motivates him and keeps him around. And I'm kicking Justin Bieber the heck out of there. I don't care if he whistles in the car with his buddy in the air. I don't care.
Yeah. How much publicity did he get for pulling James Corden in a car?
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, wow. There you go. So Paul Linn, being polite and respectful, he's laying down to Madonna because Paul Linn's nice. He's beaten Mark Cuban because he wants some of Mark Cuban's money. I get it. And then he's like, we don't need Justin Bieber's publicity. Fuck off, mate. We'll get arm wrestling, baby, oh, fuck off. Get out of here. Paul Linn's told you to fuck off, Justin Bieber.
Mark Cuban is the most quality win out of that group. Yeah, that's the most legitimate win. So I want the win on Mark Cuban. That'll give me a little bit of clout. If I lose, I don't know. They're gonna kick me out of WAL.
And hopefully, when he walks off, like thousands of dollars falls out of his pocket, and you can just go behind him and pick it up. Yeah. I love Mark Cuban. I was looking up famous people from Pennsylvania. Alrighty, this is probably my favourite game. You've seen my videos. I fucking love a pun. That's why I was so excited. I even gave you a pun at the start of the show calling you the Super Nintendo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raffle off some puns at you. And you have to tell me if these puns are Lincredible or a Linsult.
Lincredible or Linsult. Okay.
That's right. Are you ready? So, Paul Linn, welcome to the pun game. So when you turn up to a tournament or you're booked at WAL and you've already beaten the guy that they're up, do you just look at him and say, oh, look, I've Linn there, done that?
That's good. That's Lincredible.
That's Lincredible, yes. Alrighty. Things are going well. You're very active on social media. Have you ever brought in your inner Charlie Sheen and went #Linning?
That's a Linsult. I don't like that one.
All right. Do you ever really get in your inner Snoop Dogg and start sipping on some linen juice?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yes, that's Lincredible. You're a competitive guy. You want the WAL hammer. So would you call your rise to the hammer a Linderella story?
That's a good one too.
Yes. I'm on. What's that? I think the score's like 3-1. So,
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been on WAL, the website, but you've obviously watched the shows, and they give you stats, power, speed, and one of them's table IQ. So they've rated you as an 8 out of 10 for table IQ. Is that high intelligence?
No, that's a Linsult.
Oh, yeah, it should be 10. Should be 10 out of 10. All right, got a few more. You've got no idea. I fucking love puns. I could, when you're watching, give me your best Paul Linn pun in the comments. I seriously could have done about a 4.5-hour episode on Paul Linn's puns. My wife told me, just back it off a bit, stick it to 6 or 7. I could have gone all day. All right, here we go. So clearly, I like to do a bit of my research. Do you know where I found all this information? On the Linternet.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good.
I got three more. I had to keep it short, so 3 more.
You're already at like 7.
That's that's my show. I love puns. I want to keep going. Alrighty. So for those who don't know, Paul Linn works with high school footballers, strength and conditioning coach, all the works, helps in defence and everything. So young kids can go off the rails a bit, if if one of your students or one of your players goes off the rails, parties too hard, messes with the wrong people, do you have a intervention for them?
Actually, yes. Yeah, I do that often.
Yeah. You need to call it a intervention, that's for sure.
It's a really steep hill and a lot of sweat.
There, you've got you and your lovely wife have got a little family. So, when your little one watches Disney, do they pretend they're Buzz Lightyear and say to infinity and beyond?
That's a.
And then the other thing, it's not really a pun. My wife actually pointed it out. I thought it was pretty cool. So when I was playing Aussie Rules football, right, I finished up my season with the team, and we're actually called Lyndhurst.
Coincidence.
So when I was thinking I was super funny in the lounge room, my wife was like, "Well, what about Lyndhurst?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course." So I played in an Aussie Rules football team named after you, the Lyndhurst. There we go. All right, I think I've hurt you enough with the puns. I'm not gonna lie, I had way too much fun with the puns. Alrighty, now this next bit, do it with all my guests. Rapid fire questions. You're not allowed to think. First thing that comes to your mind, say the answer. You ready to go? So, do you prefer super matches or tournaments?
Super matches now.
Super matches.
Now.
Who are you booked for WAL? Try to get you in there. Try to get you. How much do Lethal Arms pay you?
Zero. Zero. We'll be a non-profit, buddy. It all goes sports. It all goes back into sport, and we're in the red all the time, anyhow.
So no. If you anyone that's watching, their Lethal Arms supplements and things like that, their YouTube videos are pretty cool. Their merchandise looks cool. You got the LA Dodgers sign with guns and arms and things like that. So if anyone's there, buy yourself some Lethal Arms gear. It's actually pretty cool. There's a guy from our in Melbourne here in Australia, and he usually wears a Lethal Arms shirt. So you're spreading. Lethal Arms are spreading.
Yeah, we don't make no money, and I pretty much pledged to put everything back into the sports, hosting events and things like that. So we're not making any money, but it's cool to see the shirts all over the place. I mean, we've sent them to I don't even know how many countries.
Oh, they're cool shirts. Absolutely.
Did I tell you the Dodgers sued me?
Yeah, I can see why.
Well, here's the backstory. We have to see the logo's different now. Because when I wrote up the trademark for it, I wrote it up as the letters LNA intertwined by an assault rifle. The logo itself is not an infringement on that trademark. The verbiage is. They own the rights to the letters LNA intertwined.
Wow.
Bullied the heck out of me. Maybe take everything off the internet. All the fees and lawyer fees. I lost any initial... the investment in that was we're way back in the red.
Wow.
So.
Then everyone, two things. One, go and buy as much Lethal Arms gear as you can and help Paul Linn off. And I know the LA Dodgers watch your show. And if you're watching LA Dodgers, go fuck yourself. That's all I can say. Make sure you buy some gear.
Getting sued by the Dodgers is maybe my greatest accomplishment in life, though, so I'm not really mad about it.
Hey, at least they know. At least they know you're there. I thought I was going to get, not so much sued, I thought I was going to get a cease and desist letter the other day because Jamie from WAL asked for my email and he wasn't giving me anything. I was like, oh my God, is this Jamie? You get to book the matches, man. This is cool. And he's like, Steve wants your email address. And I was like, okay. And then it didn't come for 36 hours. And then Steve Kaplan sends me an email. He's like, hey, man, just want to let you know I love your videos and things like that. And I was like, woo.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how Steve's mind completely works, but that could be a commentating gig down the road. I thought when you started doing that, I was thinking that they were going to say, we own the intellectual rights to the WAL videos. But hey, that's good news, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought I was going to get back off you guys. Stop using our videos now. But yeah, he was just like, I'm a fan and I'll watch every one of them. And then I was like, oh my God, now we're gaining momentum. This is unreal. So it's just, I was...
Better look out, Max. You better look out.
Look, I'll host WAL After Dark, when all the kids go to bed, give me the microphone, I'll get over there. I'll make the show happen. Fox Sports 1, just once everyone watches the main show, let me host the show. I'll put arm wrestling on the map. Don't worry about that.
There we go. Endorsed it.
Yeah. All right. A few more rapid before we finish up. A few more rapid fire questions. Where am I up to? How much would it cost to shave the hair off your chin?
There's no price on that. My chin is ugly. This has been like this for a long time. You can say it's a Billy Joe beard if you want, but it ain't going nowhere.
Oh!
My wife is like, what? What is that? Put your chin away.
$100,000. $100,000 to shave your chin.
$100,000 is gone. Never grow it back.
Yeah. So then, when you win the middleweight WAL hammer, what's the weirdest thing you do with it?
The hammer?
Yeah.
I'll train with it.
See, I play a game of croquet with it.
Beat the hell out of that thing in the gym.
Yeah.
I will train with it. I'm not good with trophies. I don't display things. And I got some cool stuff. And I got this. I don't even know what the thing is. It has a name. Anyway, it's a functional prize from the Arnold Classic, and the guy presented it to me. It's beautiful. It was like gold and it's got things on. It's beautiful. And I was like, "Are you going to be offended when you see this in the video? Me using it in the gym, beating the hell out of it?" And he was like, "No, go ahead, by all means." So I train with it. I ain't worried about that stuff.
Nah, I'd be doing something stupid like, I don't know, I'd hammer some nails in if I was fixing up the garden, or I'd play a game of croquet or a round of golf with it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so pound a big tire or something like that.
Yeah.
Make a video that would be funny.
Fuck, that would be so cool. All right, would you rather win the WAL hammer or win an NCAA Division 1 championship?
Right now in my life, I want the hammer.
Yeah.
My game shifted, and now we're talking about doing something that I have in my horizon against doing something that is so far gone that I don't even think about it anymore. So give me the hammer.
Now, I'm not sure if I've done my research right, so bear with me. Would you rather lose to Lockhaven or Westchester?
Oh, I would most certainly rather lose to Westchester. We lost to Lockhaven. We lost to Lockhaven my junior year, and they were horrible. They were horrible. And it was a huge fluke. We lost. It was terrible. And I got a concussion in the second quarter, and I played the entire game on autopilot. I don't remember the second half at all. Nothing.
So
no
maybe
clue.
you won.
We lost, and I'm riding the bus home, and I'm like, did we really lose that game? And they're like, shut up, stop asking the same questions. We lost the game, and you don't know where you're at.
Oh, yes, I got that right. And then the last one, do you think you could weather the storm Chelino?
Oh, time's probably going to tell. So we'll find out. I have a feeling that is an inevitable match that is absolutely going to happen at one time or another. Obviously, it's not something that, as training partners, we train together regularly, constantly. I talk to them daily. It's not something we want to do, but it's also something we understand it's going to have to happen. Wow. And I hope that match happens at a really pivotal time where something really important's on the line.
Yeah, hopefully it's either for the hammer or at least the number one contender for that one. All right, two things you got to do before we wrap up here, Paul. Two things you got to do. One, you've got to nominate another puller to come on the show.
Okay.
So who do you think should come on the show next?
You talking WAL guys?
Yeah,
or just anyone?
Yeah, they can be WAL guys. Just anyone that you think would be good fit for the show.
Who would be good for the show? I'm trying to think who's got super charisma. You know what? I have to go with James and Michelle Dugan as a duo. Listen, James is a handful. He's a good interview. He's sharp as a whip. He will buy in big time to all this stuff. And Michelle's just the sweetest person on planet Earth.
Yeah, beautiful. James and Michelle Dougal, I am coming for you. Last thing we got to do before we wrap up. You've seen how I introduced the podcast. You see how I introduced Paul. I need to hear from you. Ready? Bang! I need your best impression of it.
Ready? Bang!
That's not too bad. That's not too bad, actually. Quite. That's a soundbite there for me. I love it. Guys, you've got to understand, not only is Paul Linn a badass on the table, as you can see in this, he's just a fucking cool dude. Can be a badass when he wants, so don't cross his path. So you better buy some Lethal Arms gear. I'll chuck some websites in the comments section here with all the Paul Linn puns. Paul, man, as a fan, this has just been so much fun. And I can stop sweating now because you laughed at most of my puns. I was worried you were just going to get all fucking serious on me and say, Aussie Arm Wrestler, shut up. So, man, I've had so much fun. I cannot appreciate it. Buy Lethal Arms gear. As you can see above Paul's head, it's his Instagram. I'll even put Lethal Arms Instagram in the comments as well. I'll do as much to spread the word. Help Paul Linn out, guys, because he's a real fucking red hot crack to win the WAL Hammer. Paul, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, Jake, thanks for having me, dude. I know you're up at like 3 a.m. right now dealing with me. I'm out in the sun. You're getting ready to go to bed. So like you said, as a fan, from my perspective, I love what you're doing, right? You guys, people like you are pumping out the content and putting the sport into the mainstream light. So keep up what you're doing. And if I can ever help in any way, shape, or form, I'm here 100%. I'll do my best to share this video out. If you're watching this video, please subscribe to this dude. Don't just subscribe, but also share. That's the most important thing for growth. So thanks again, Jake. I really like what you're doing. Like I said, and anything I can ever do, just let me know. Hopefully the next time I see you, it's either in Australia or at a WAL main card where you're announced.
Oh man, don't even. I won't be able to go to bed now knowing that. No, I cannot thank you enough, Paul. It's been a fucking ripper on my end.
Nice.
Thanks for watching, you legends, and don't forget to pin the subscribe button, like, share, and comment away. And ready, bang!